Hi everyone, welcome back. Or should I say, I'm back. I've taken a bit of a YouTube sabbatical just for a couple of months since the end of the event season last year. My event season ended at Hyrox Glasgow in February, and then I didn't have much on until May, which is imminent. So in that time, my training goes into sort of a maintenance mode, slowly building up towards what's to come. In that time, I've taken that opportunity to work on a couple of other YouTube channels. One for my daughter, I'll get to that in a little bit, and one inspired by my son. And they're doing quite well. I've got one over the 1,000 subs mark, another one is approaching 500 subs, both of which look like they're going to outperform this particular channel. So I thought, now they're on their way, I'll come back and update you on what I've been doing and what is to come. So the things I did last, if we just rewind slightly to January into February, I did Hyrox Manchester, a doubles, singles, double whammy, and 2 weeks later I did Hyrox Glasgow. Now both these events required staying away, bit of a drive, big event, and driving back. It was a whole thing. It was very exhausting. I did quite well. I got my PB in Glasgow. I'm very happy with that. And like I said, when I came back, I didn't have anything immediate to train for. In fact, the first thing on the schedule this year was some road running races in the local road running race league. And it was very apparent that when I went and took part, it was my running that seems to have reduced in my capabilities the most. I mean, Hyrox is a funny one because you train so hard for it for so long. It's like a champagne cork bottle, boop, and then it's over. And you're left in that sort of physical state as a result of all that training. But it's quite specific to that kind of sport, that kind of anaerobic red line sport. If you've ever done a Hyrox, you'll understand that you're running at like almost 90%, 100% all the way around in terms of like your heart rate and stuff. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. So it was very apparent that when I stood on the start line with lots of running types of people that had trained running specifically all winter, that my capacity had been reduced, and I couldn't perform to the same level I did last year. It was a bit embarrassing because I was like a whole minute behind, and that ain't a lot over sort of a 7-mile road race. A minute behind isn't a huge amount, but it was enough for me to look at my two results from either year and go, hold on a minute, what's the difference? And it was because I've done so much more Hyrox training this year, and that's fine. I mean, you can't do everything. I'm a busy guy. I have maybe 4 or 5 sessions a week and they're only an hour long, whatever, that I can apply to training. I'm a father of 2, I work full time, I have now 3 YouTube channels, a private business, a dog, responsibilities. I'm sure so many people can appreciate that when you're in your 40s, life is busy, really, really busy. So yeah, you just got to work it out. Previously I'd probably run 3 or 4 times a week, gym 3 times a week, 2 times a week, whatever. But when you're training for Hyrox, something has to give. You have to apply more time to that sort of training and less time to running. But now we're in the precipice of a new year of events, and the first chunk of that year is predominantly running based. Quite competitive running based as well. The road running league runs through spring and summer, and there's about 7 or 8 races, and I always like to do well at those. I always like to reach my standards, which I'm only just doing at the moment. But then I've also subscribed to the Spartan Race season ticket. I'm in the Great North Run, Bosworth Half Marathon, Leicester Half Marathon, etc., etc. So my running needs to come back. One of the tools I use for this is regularly going to park runs and stuff, and that helps me with my short and fast bursts. But I need to then make sure my long runs are in, train my sort of heart rate a bit better so I can hit zone 2 and 3 comfortably all of the time without maxing out, without getting to that stage. Save that stage for the actual races. So that sort of brings us up to the schedule. That brings us up to the now. And my May starts off with a humdinger. It starts off with a Spartan race. So the first one this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, is the Spartan Trifecta London West, right? Never done this one before. I've no idea what it's like. In fact, I've only ever done one Spartan before. Just I'll put a little bit of footage up here, and I just want to lay it out now. I love the Spartan brand. I love the event. I love just about all of the obstacles. They're so fantastic because it is a proper mix between running and exercise, whereas there is quite a lot of this out there, but Spartan Race, it requires you to use your upper body quite a lot, and I quite like that. A lot of the emphasis is on lower parts of the body in other events. So yeah, I've got another video about Spartan Race and all that kind of stuff, and I'm sure there'll be a video actually afterwards, because I'll take my camera lady with me and she can film me as I go around. Fingers crossed she can find me. It's a big old course, but I'm there for 3 events. So the Beast on the Saturday, Super on the Sunday morning, and the Sprint. And this time round, even though I've only done one Spartan race before when I got these t-shirts, this time round I've entered the age group. Now I don't know what to I really don't know what to expect from the age group. I watched a few other YouTube videos which sort of got the cogs turning in my brain. I wouldn't necessarily go for the competitive waves because I like to take a camera with me, a camera on a stick. If you look through my YouTube channel, you'll see countless events where I've run the entire thing with my camera on a stick, including the Pippingford Spartan Trifecta in 2021. And I got around that beast in about 3 hours, and that was in the open waves. But I was stopping, I was putting the camera down to film me through the obstacles. I was figuring out how to do stuff as I approached them. I was taking my time over the obstacles because I had a camera always in one hand, and I did it in 3 hours. There's also other things that factor into that time, like if you get to bottlenecks, lots of people in the open waves, there's lots of people to contend with, certainly in the early stages of the race or runs. So I have no idea, if you take the camera out of my hand and the track is free in front of me, I have no idea of what my capabilities are. I'm a pretty decent runner and the obstacles don't really bother me. I'm completely okay with carrying heavy weights because I train that sort of stuff all of the time. There's a few unknown things like the spear throw. I wasn't particularly good at that last time in the open waves, so I can foresee me having to do some burpees there. Part of the competitive waves is that the penalties are enforced more severely than they are in the opens. So if you fail something, certainly something that's compulsory, you've got to do 20 burpees or whatever the penalty is. I'm very much looking forward to it, but part of my brain rewinds back to how I felt at Pippingford 2 years ago. I remember that Beast really was quite a physical event. It was something that you finished and you felt really quite broken because there's so many things you have to drag yourselves over, that you're bruised and you're battered and you've used all your muscles. And so yeah, I went to bed that night. I woke up next morning, and I woke up that morning aching like all over, and you can't possibly imagine doing all of that again. But you have to put your running kit on, you have to head down to the site, you have to sign back up to Super and then sprint. But when it's over, you're so proud of yourself and you get so much medal bling that it's just so cool. I came away from the London South East Spartan in 21 thinking, yes, I'm definitely coming back to that. And that was part of my decision making for this year. When I had the chance to buy the season ticket, I thought, yes, this might be my one chance. I'm a guy who's in his mid-40s. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do these things, and now there's this cost of living crisis, so these events are already expensive before you throw in inflation and gas and electricity prices and mortgages and all the other grown-up stuff that you have to deal with. So you just don't know what next year's going to bring, what financial restrictions are going to be in place or amplified by next year. So it's super important to me to get these things done while I can. In fact, while the emphasis on why I've got so much stuff in my diary and why I did similar amount last year and even the year before that is because as you get older, you realize that there's only a finite amount of time left for you really to be able to take part in these things, let alone be competitive at them. So I don't have any regrets when I'm in my 50s or my 60s, or if something terrible happens to me and I'm unable to compete in these things, I don't want any regrets. So that's why my calendar is always as full as it can be, because I want to have all of these memories. I want to have the videos, I want to have the photos, I want to be able to show my kids all the fun, amazing stuff that I did when I was in my late 30s, early 40s. I'm going to try and continue to do it for as long as I possibly can. I want to inspire my own children to get into it because I find fitness adventures and challenges, I find them very fulfilling. Other people are just sat at home, you know, they don't really live their lives, they don't really challenge themselves. So I find a great deal of reward from taking part in these things. I walk away very proud of myself. So Spartan Race is first, right? And it's a three-parter, a 13-mile, a 10k, a 5k. Most of you will know what a Spartan Race is by now, and in each one there's a set of obstacles. So in the big one there's 30, 25, 20, whatever, and the idea is that if you can't do the obstacle you have to do a penalty, whether it be a penalty loop or some burpees, whatever. It's just so that you don't bypass the obstacle without and then save time and then beat somebody else, because it is a timed event. It makes sense. In the competitive waves, you go off in chunks, sort of blocks of people that are roughly the same age as you. I think that's 2 or 3 waves in the morning. I think I've just tipped from the sort of young category into the older category, so I'll go away with the 40s and 50s and even 60s. I don't know if that's all in one wave or several waves, but I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be interesting. I'm pretty sure I'll do all right at the beast, because I'll be fresh, and I'll be keen, and I want to do well. The problem comes with the sort of trifecta and the age grouping is that I'll show up the next day half broken already from the beast, and then there'll be a bunch of people that are fresh. So I'll be competing essentially against people that are well, they're not half broken, are they? So they're fresh. So in theory, those guys should all just go ahead of me. I'm going to be running relatively conservative, and some of those guys won't even be doing the sprint in the afternoon. I still have to do a third thing after Super. So while I'm looking forward mostly to the beast and seeing what my time is relative to everybody else, the Super I take with a pinch of salt, because you go into it compromised. There's no two ways about it. If you've ever done a beast into a Super, you will understand that you go into it fatigued, your muscles are in a state of destruction from the previous day, your body aches, you're stiff. I do remember loosening up quite quickly and getting into it, and similar with the sprint in the afternoon, I really did quite enjoy that. So I do know what's coming. I'm under no illusions that Saturday night into Sunday morning my body's just going to stiffen right up, and then I have to deal with that. And because you're in the age groups as well, you set off quite early in the day, so it's like 8:30 time. The only people that go before you are the elites, which I think those guys go off at 7:30. I mean, they'll be done in time for breakfast. So that's the first weekend, and then it moves on. I've got league race, nuclear races, league race, and then some relays, some local relays that are run in Leicester. All fantastic events, but basically 5 solid weekends of hard graft before a bit of a break in July, just a fun one in July at Wolf Run. August has the Gloucester Spartan. It's not a trifecta, it's just, rewind, before August there is the July Midlands Spartan Trifecta. Now, I'm not doing this one as the age grading, but I secretly bought my wife a ticket so we could do one together, because she's never done one. I've only done one myself, and I wanted her to experience one. I think she would do very well. She trains at the gym and she runs just like I do. So I bought her a ticket. She wasn't massively thrilled when I gave it to her. She just like, even though I'd already spent all the money and had all the tickets ready, and I said, here you go. She went, no. A day or two later, she came round and she's like, oh, thank you. And we're now going to do it together. And I think she is secretly looking forward to a little bit. It features so many obstacles that she will really like. Lots of climbing, lots of monkey bars and swinging, lots of hanging stuff, and she's really good at all those things. So there's absolutely no reason why she's not just going to boss it like she does just about everything. So yeah, so after that, in August, there's the Gloucester Beast. It's only a single day. I think it's a Sunday, and it's coincidentally it's on my 43rd birthday, so I'll be having to, on my birthday, straight down to Gloucester to sort of blitz that and then come back, and then into September we've got things like the Great North Run. Got it through on the ballot for that. Half marathon, run as fast as you can. I would love a sub 90-minute effort at that, so another reason to get my running back on track. And then finally back to Pippingford, where it all began, where I got this t-shirt, to finish off the Spartan Trifecta triple. So hopefully I'll have 3 lots, and I want to get one of these pyramid doohickeys. I've kind of got like a trifecta holder for the one trifecta, but because I'm doing 3 in a year, you can get 3 that all fit around a nice little pyramid. So that's the plan for that. And then finally, sort of toward the end of the season, I've got the Leicester half marathon, and then I've got Hyrox Birmingham and Hyrox London, back into Hyrox season. So shortly before this, I'm gonna have to start training. I will switch back from sort of exclusive running and start to ramp up periods of strength training and periods of events training, lots more sled work, lots more compromised leg training, little blocks of that, so in little periods leading up to the event. It's hard, like I said before, it's hard to do everything all at once. So if you break it down into chunks, figure out, so I'll do a month of strength training, overlap it a little bit with cardio training, overlap it a little bit with hits and WODs and things like that, and just cycle through those leading up to the event, and that will take us almost up to the end of the year. So part of me spouting all this to you, I don't expect many people to watch this. This is just a way for me to break myself back into making videos for my own channel. It's hard to get back into something, certainly when I've been making videos for this YouTube channel and this YouTube channel. To explain to you what they are, my son for Christmas got a little marble run set, and I noticed that he was watching a lot of marble runs on YouTube. So I got his marble run set, went into the garage, and I filmed me making a marble run, because I'd have to make them for him anyway, because he's only 3. And that one video has already gone past 250,000 views. I've since made a load more videos. None have quite done as well as the first, frustratingly, but if you've got a young child, I'm talking 2, 3, 4 years old, and you just want to stick them in front of something, a marble run video on YouTube is just a nice way of doing that. It worked for my kid. It keeps him quiet while you want to watch something else, or if you're in the car, or if you're in a restaurant. And I've made about 50 of those videos in the last few months, so go check it out. It's called Marble Mart. And secondly, for my daughter Isabel, she has over the last few months become rather good at running. So proud dad moment. Part of that is down to going to park runs with us. initially she was a bit rubbish and needed piggybacks and walking and stopping and moaning and complaining, but over the course of 24 runs she's gone from not being able to run anything to being down to 26 minutes. And most of that was done when she was 6 years old. She's just turned 7 and she's got a 26-minute 15 personal best, which, considering she's a wee tiny thing, her legs must be going twice as fast as anybody else. If anybody's watching this and you've got some children, you would quite like them to get into running, and you want someone to sort of show, oh, look at this girl, look how well she's doing, check it out. We put on a couple of videos a week at the moment, just of us at park runs or training, just really like child-friendly dad-daughter bants, and it's just something wholesome that we do together now. She doesn't always appreciate the effort that goes in, but one day it'll be something I might be able to hand over to her and say, here you go, you can carry this on now. If she continues down the fitness route or the running route or the gymnastics route or the swimming route, she's a very physical child, so she'll have this as a nice way of looking back at her training, and I wish that I had something like that when I was a child. So she may reject it and become a goth or something. Time will only tell. So her channel is called Isabel Sparkle. She chose that name herself. That's not her actual surname. And you'll see there's 6 or 7 videos on there at the moment. We're always adding and got some new ideas, but they're mainly around running for children. So if you've got young children, sort of 5, 6, 7, 8, it's a great little collection of videos to say, look, this is how it's done, or this is how it can be done. So just check it out. It's a lot of fun. That's brilliant. So thank you for that. Like I said, this video was more about me just getting back in front of camera, talking to you unscripted, just free, so I can get myself back into the mindset ahead of this weekend, because obviously I'll have some video footage and I'll have some content to give you the following week. So thank you for listening, and I will see you after Spartan Southwest. Spartan London West. Southwest is another one. Okay, thank you for watching. I will see you soon. That's it for now. Like and subscribe. Cheers. Malt out.